That
or
is
my
true.
favorite.
Well, go ahead.
Let's hire some decent sculptors. If we're gonna go into this, we're gonna make a game. It's gonna be great. We've got 2 huge companies backing us, Marvel and DC. We're just gonna
And a couple indies, too.
No, we're gonna pretend they don't exist.
All right.
They obviously don't exist. They had to get together and create an indie faction.
Yeah, so much for Witchblade and such.
We can't spend the extra $3 in a bottle of vodka to get somebody half decent to make a sculpt. Instead, I've got a Lego man melted and some paint slapped on it.
Actually, some of the sculpts are very good.
Did you see the latest Justice League of America sculpt?
Okay, hold on. Some of the sculpts were really good, and later, as they went, the sculpts got better.
They did get better. Avengers wasn't too bad.
Yeah, as opposed to, it's not as good as like D&D minis or something like that, which is far superior to sculpts.
Well,
And
Wizards
paint
of the
jobs.
Coast is still around.
No,
That
true.
should
Yeah, that
say
is true.
something.
But they had pretty decent sculpts. But there's something about the eyes. They just couldn't get the eyes going.
Well, here's a tip. Use a smaller brush.
True.
You can't have half the face white. And I had an Electra one time where her eyes looked like she was at Hiroshima, where they're like candle wax.
But the body looked okay. The sculpt of the body was pretty good usually.
Usually Electra is.
No,
Especially when Jennifer.
oh, he's like, who was green? Alright. So, you brought up a good point about DC and Marvel and a little bit of indies. What about the Horror Clicks line?
I'm not sure who was backing those. I think that was proprietary.
Mm-hmm.
Which issued some great ideas. But another thing with Wizkids was they'd come up with Hero Clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Horror Clicks or Mage Knight. It would have been nice to see some compatibility across the board. Now they had a couple, what did they call those? There's a proof play stuck up jerks. Those guys. I know they were
Judges dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were called privateers for. I just couldn't remember what they. Do you remember what they called for Hero Clicks?
Envoys, maybe? I don't
think they might have been on.
I think that might have been clever. Anyways, these jackasses, they I have to give them credit though. They tried. They tried to come up with a way to make the Hero Clicks and the Horror Clicks work in the same game. I could have Superman fighting Cthulhu. Unfortunately, because of the lack of game balance overall, like within the own sets, let alone across the board, the superheroes just went in and went, all right, we're done. Game over.
Well, you have Jason, who's a pretty good character there, against Superman.
Well, even if Jason was against Batman, as far as the click stats, Batman just owns him. Bruce Wayne's an awesome dude, but Jason's still giving him a little bit of a run for his money, just because it'd take him a while to figure out that, hey, he doesn't die like normal and keeps coming back, and I want to do something about that. Rookie Thug could smash your freaking normal Horcrux piece.
You're saying this as if it had actually game balance within its own system.
Game balance was another huge issue with HeroClix. Whatever super rare piece was out, and this happens in a lot of games, and I'm probably going to break topic here and go off about this for a little bit because it drives me nuts.
Because this never happens.
No.
Whatever super rare was out in that set was the game winner, end all. Nobody played anything else. The problem with that is Wizkids make it real easy to make that the game winner. There were very few things that you could do to take the common pieces and beat it down. Of course, that's their thing, but this happens every game. Players, and I blame approved play. I really blame approved play for this. Players in general, when they see an approved play system, DCI Pro Tour, one of the worst things to ever exist. They will go, oh, that deck won, I gotta build that. Or, War Machine. New piece released, somebody does well with it in a tournament. Oh, that's the end of the Satyr, Gnarlhorn Satyr. It's not that great, people. Honestly.
Touch the nerve here.
Apparently. It's not about whatever approved play says is awesome. Whatever your press gang or your DCI judge, nobody cares what they think. Honestly, they are a volunteer for an organization who work their butt off. They don't get rewarded for it by the organization, but they don't always know everything about the game. Pro Tour people, yeah, have all the money cards. I remember back in the day when Magic, I could take 40-cent commons, cost 2 mana, and stop anything you were doing and interrupt the game. Counterspell, greatest spell ever made. My thing is, game balancer should always be a shot, and there is in War Machine, despite don't ever go on the forums because you will stop believing it. You should be able to take any combination of pieces and come up with a strategy, whether they're rare, whether they're common, whether they're inform a strategy that can work to beat anything out there. Some games a little harder than others. HeroClix was an issue.
I have to point out that in some tournaments you could get, I would call it an LE. It was like a super ultra rare LE special edition thing, where you would get your normal piece. Your normal LE would be about that big, such, a couple inches tall, and that'd be great. But when you put that little couple inches tall thing, and you put it against something that size, Galactus, I mean, that's half your game board right there. I'm going to move Galactus. Whoops, you're dead.
Well, that's how Galactus would really work, though.
But how do you get Galactus? Let's see. You either spend a lot of money, or you go to some big league tournament, or you have, if your dad's a judge, he can get it for you.
Yeah. Well, I also like to point out, like with the Galactus thing, Galactus was supposed to be only run for scenarios, like really wasn't supposed to be built. But the point still stands: is a lot of times these LEs were released as prize support. Then Wizkids decided, you know what? We're okay with our tournament organizers and our judges, especially the higher up ones. They make us a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're okay with them working at the local retailers. We're fine with that. Wizkids actually made the decision that, approved play, and this was the beginning of the end for approved play. This is about when it started falling apart. Anybody...
Well, mind you, once the approved play goes with a game system, usually the game goes. Because if you don't have a player base...
Right.
It starts to go under.
Gamers of America, you need to think your own freaking thoughts here. You don't need an approved play system. It ruins the game. Get creative. Look at the rules and go, wow, I can do this. Think. I think too many people have gotten, again, back in the rut.
Are you suggesting that just like a hobby league is the way to go rather than approved play?
Exactly. I mean, you get somebody that knows the rules, have them run it. You don't, again, we're a nationwide approved play, you get back in the thing, oh, somebody won the national champions with this deck, or this army. And that's all everybody does, because people don't think on their own. There needs to be a game that people have to think. Or it needs to be a certain group of players that takes the pieces that everybody says is crap and constantly stomps people with it, because there's a strategy involved. War Machine's great because there's a strategy involved everywhere. Magic is going the way of Wizkids anymore. Not so hot anymore, but it's still doable.
The fact that Yu-Gi-Oh is now building up popularity again,
right,
over Magic is that's actually kind of.
I think Wizards of the Coast has something to worry about here. I mean, granted, Magic is the king of TCGs. They started it. There's some dispute there. There's some other games, but honestly, they came out fairly early. Richard Garfield said this game would be fun, and then, like all great creators, he eventually sold his soul and his product. Actually, sold the soul.
Creator of other fantastic games such as Robo Rally.
What?
Robo Rally.
Exactly.
Yeah. And other games like that. Yeah.